Basically everything that I have is going to be turned into some sort of summer project, and I have 3 different categories for this. So the first is I'm starting tomorrow. Like, this needs to get done, especially since I'm considering doing a summertime project with it, even though we're only at the end. Well, we're not even at the end of May yet. I feel a little bit behind on some of my summer projects. It could be because it was 80, 90 degrees this weekend as I was going to the entire Fiber Festival, walking around, seeing everybody's makes already, but we do have time. I'm thinking 2 or 3 projects I have time to make and actually get some use from during the summer season. That's the first category. I'm making it tomorrow. We're starting it. I know the project that I'm gonna actually start doing. The second is I'm gonna make it this month. So I do wanna work on it, but I'm not gonna push some of my other projects because I have at least 3 or 4 other projects going right now. Obviously, I don't wanna like set all those aside, but one of them. And the last project is I don't have a time frame from it. I just really loved the fiber or yarn, and I wanna make sure that I have it for a project in the near future. So that one actually might not be a summertime project. It might be something that works its way into the fall, but that's totally fine. I just felt like a little bit more organized by having these 3 categories. So that's how we're gonna go forward with this. But yeah, Shepherd's Harvest happened this past weekend. I have an entire walkthrough if you wanna see it. It was massive. There were so many buildings full with tons and tons of vendors. This little pamphlet, they handed it to you as you drove in to park. It has every single vendor that was in there. Highly recommend grabbing one of these. It was actually really helpful. And then it had everything that was happening for the entire weekend. So technically it started on Friday, but those were only the classes and like the demos that were going on. I didn't go on Friday, but Saturday and Sunday there was vendors. There was sheep shearing. I mean, there was a ton of different things. Like I said, I have an entire walkthrough if you want to see that video. But today, I'm going to show everything that I got from this festival, and there are some really good things that I'm incredibly excited about. This is from Nerdy Knits, and it has a little bit of mulberry silk in it. I mean, I love purples in general, but I feel like this one is going to be really cool. It has some dark, intense purples. Look at that. That is just so beautiful. So this is gonna fall into the category of I am starting this tomorrow. What am I gonna make with it after it's spun up? I don't know, I haven't got that far yet. My spinning wheel is all out because I did bring it to the festival thinking that I might have time to do that a little bit. Spoiler alert, it didn't end up happening, but that's totally okay. I have 2 different braids. I think I'm gonna put them together. Look at that sparkle. It's super intense. And I was interested to see if it felt coarse, which it doesn't. Non-superwash merino wool. So this one, okay, I might actually have to put it together with something. That's just 100% me and my preference. Since I'm so new to spinning still, I like to put this in combination with something else. So actually, these 2 together might play perfectly because this is definitely a little bit softer, where this one is gonna take a little bit more effort for me. I have my blending board and I haven't used that in a really long time, which is just super fun, sitting down, very relaxing, mesmerizing. You just pull off a little piece here and then apply it, basically paint it onto the blending board, which is really fun. Like the entire process of spinning, I super enjoy. But that part in particular, even though it's the exact same color, like if I were thinking about it, I guess I should have got a different color. Oh, you know what? I could do a really nice wall hanging with this. 4 ounces of each, so I have 8 ounces in total. I could do some sort of witchy wall hanging with this, and then maybe do some embroidery on top of that. So like get an embroidery hoop, maybe like 16 inches. Okay, I'm liking the direction of this. And I knew this was gonna happen. I really wanted to make some space today to go through everything and just kind of figure out, okay, I know the patterns that I kind of want to do, but like, let's figure it all out. And now that it's out of the bag, we're just gonna go ahead and set this like this. I'm not gonna put it back in the bag. They had very bright, very vibrant colors. When it came to their roving, my partner actually picked out a hank of yarn. They really love greens. And this one is called Secret Woods. Little pops of color in it, and then obviously the green. It is superwash merino wool in sock weight. I can't remember what they asked me to make this. It wasn't a pair of socks. I'm gonna have to ask them again. Hold on a second. Okay, I remember. A crossbody bag. That's what they wanted with this. And it's 100 grams, 438 yards. So I was thinking something like maybe some fun granny squares, put them all together and make a crossbody bag with that. This might actually turn into one of those where I cake it up and then I have it set in my movie room and just kind of work on it whenever I have time. Especially if I'm going to do granny squares. I love granny squares. I mean, just over and over and over, repeat type of deal. Maybe tiny mushrooms and then granny square around that, or like cluster stitch around it. We got time to think about that. So if you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear it. Okay, I do actually want to pull this apart here just to kind of see what I'm going to be working with. That's so nice. Again, since I am so new, I definitely do little tiny pieces. I mean, okay, probably a little bit more than this. Let's see how this one works with all that shimmer in there. Okay, it's a little bit more coarse, but not as much as I was thinking. They did have a ton of drop spindles there, which is something that I've done in the past. And I mean, I could have just done that right now, but I love my electric spinning wheel. If I have to choose between the two of them, I will always choose my electric spinning wheel, but drop spindle just looks so fun. There was a ton of people just walking around the festival with the spindle. Teresa from Get Ben's Farm had one on Sunday. I saw her kind of playing around with it. We can still see a lot of the shimmer in here. I guess I'm not mad that it's not going to be a pop in your face type of shimmer because of the texture that it's going to bring. Setting it down, otherwise I'm just going to start spinning it up right now. Next up we have Iber MacGyver. There were many things that I wanted from that vendor. Susie just does an incredible job with vibrant, intense colors. There were a bunch of little baby hanks, like little clusters of them. If I wanted to do a wrap or some sort of color work, that would have been perfect. And I did think that when I first walked into the booth, right on the right hand side, there were a lot of little mini hanks that I actually did pick up right away. But then as I got into the line, I saw something on the bottom. I'm like, hold on, what is that? It's a Wednesday inspired hank of yarn. So yeah, I pulled it out. My partner saw it and was like, okay, put the other one back, and then picked up the rest that they had underneath there. So I actually got 3 of these and I've already caked up one of them. This is merino sock weight yarn, so 80% merino, 20% nylon. There is 437 yards. Really interesting how the color lays. So in hank form here, very dark, intense black and blue. Then when you open it up, super satisfying. There is just a really big cluster of the blue. Like when it was in the hank form, it looked like it was all throughout, but really it's just one spot that's the blue, and the whole rest of this hank is black. And I think that would be really pretty in a pair of socks. And also, I haven't worked on my sock knitting machine for a very long time. I think December was the last time I had it out. I'm thinking it's time. Like, we need to bust this out again, and this would be the perfect reason for me to get back into it. This one needs to be starting within the month too. Okay, at least one of them. I'm not gonna do all 3 unless I start into it and then I just start flying with everything. Well, actually, here's the thing. Once I get going on my sock knitting machine, it goes very quickly. I mean, like, it takes me a second to get back into it. It was a huge learning curve for me. If you were here in the yarn dungeon when I first got that, which I don't know, it's been a little while since I've had it, but it was a very big learning curve. And once I figured it out, then I kind of did socks for every single day for a month or 2, just to kind of make sure when I come back to it, it's muscle memory. And it is, but it isn't at the same time. Like, I still have to have the entire pattern right there. As I was going through that whole process, I set up 2 different patterns. So I have one specifically for me and then one for my partner with the actual measurements, because on the site that I got it from, they kind of gave us a rough, okay, here's the pattern, here's what it should be for this size. Especially when it comes to me, I'm very particular in how they lay and how they feel, how tight they are. So I had to kind of play around with that pattern quite a bit, and same with my partner. At one time, I did like the shorter socks, the ones that you can kind of fold over. Now I want them to be really long. I could still fold them over too, but I just like using as much of the yarn as possible just to see the color. Like, if I'm gonna make a pair of pair of socks. I want it to pop out for my platform shoes and have like its moment to shine. So this is good that there's a lot in here. I have one more thing from Iber MacGyver. So this was on Saturday when I was hitting up all the vendors and kind of just seeing and taking everything in. On Sunday, I came back and I was headed to see Teresa at the Get Bent's farm station when I just happened to glance over and say, "Hey, Susie, how's it going?" They had like this little display in the front of their vending booth, and I saw this on the bottom, and I'm like, hold on, this was not here yesterday. The Midnight Collection. How freaking stunning is this? I mean, these are my colors. So I got 2 of them, and this one I already had to pull apart just to see. I was about 2 seconds away from putting it on my Swift and working it up right there, but I already had sun hat going, and I had a couple of other projects too. So I was like, okay, we're just gonna wait on this one, even though looking at this, yeah, I want to work this up immediately. There's stuff on the inside. So hand-dyed yarn, curated with love and grit. That is adorable. See if I can pull this apart without actually ripping the label, because I want to know what this is. So if you get a Iber MacGyver, don't forget to open it up. There's a little scan down here. Our yarns are hand-dyed in small batches. Due to the nature of the process, each skein is unique and the batches will vary. So if you want to make like a sweater or a cardigan or a blanket, something like that, it's best to have like alternate between the hanks of yarn. If you just do one and then shift to the next one, sometimes you get like lines and stuff in it, which I'm not opposed to, especially when it comes to blankets. I mean, it's hand-dyed yarn. Every single one of these is going to be a little bit different. And then they have the little code down here, which I'm assuming is going to take you right to Iber MacGyver's site. And it goes to what is new in studio right now. So there's a lot of bright colors, but this is what I'm talking about. Super intense, vibrant colors. So go ahead and check that out. There's a lot of different stuff on their site right now. This one is gonna be, I don't really have plans for it because I already have stuff. I mean, I already have 3 different projects, right? So this one I wasn't really expecting. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put it up on my wall of reds here. That way I can still enjoy it every single day, but I don't have to commit time to this, especially since I'm working with the Wednesday fiber. We're going to save this one for another day. Merino cashmere, 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. This is gonna be freaking stunning. That was probably my favorite unexpected find for the day, or the weekend, really. She also had some freebies with each purchase. So since I purchased something on Saturday and Sunday, I got 2 of them. Comes with a Iber MacGyver sticker, which is gonna go into my water bottle. These adorable little camper needle stoppers, which is reminiscent to the camper that she has, and I actually got to see for the Fiber Festival where they were parked and everything. It is so stinking adorable. I am not a camping person. It is not something that I think of, but this camper made me almost consider it this year. It was just so adorable and cozy, and she had some like crochet and knit stuff in there, like accessories, decor, some flowers to hang on the outside. Like the whole setup was just so stinking cozy. And thank you to everyone who is saying, even though I don't use knitting needles, I 100% can still use these just with some of my smaller crochet hooks. This is a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook, which I actually use quite a bit, especially during the summertime. It fits on here. That just makes my day. There are so many cute ones that I have passed up because I just don't need them for crochet. I mean, if my project comes off of my hook as I'm traveling, it's really not that big a deal. Maybe I'll lose a stitch or 2. All in all, it's not that big a deal. Knitting in comparison, if it falls off the needles, that's chaos right there. So I understand why you need this, but I also wanted to be a part of the fun and have the cute little accessories for it. So I will be using these now. Thank you for that. Next, I stopped at the Adventure Truck, which is actually where I got my electric spinning wheel. They had a bunch of cool, just everything. So they had hanks of yarn, they had stitch markers. One of the things that really drew my attention, because I saw this in action, it looks just, it's like a 3D printed box, right? Okay, here's what it is. This is essentially a travel table for my electric spinning wheel. So the electric spinning wheel goes in here. I'm more of a visual learner, so we're gonna just go ahead and put it all together. It's placed in here, and there is a hole on the bottom that goes onto a tripod. put this part here, I can use this outside without having to worry about where am I going to put it? What table am I going to set it on? That was another reason I was a little hesitant to pull it out this weekend. I really didn't have a good space for it to like set it on, for it to be flat and secure at the same time. My partner's chair did have a little table and it probably would have worked, but then I would have had to figure out, set up my hammock chair around it. This, I can just attach it onto the tripod and start going. Like this is gonna be super, super secure. It's not going anywhere, because that is the whole reason that I got this electric spinning wheel, is because it's portable. It's easy to travel with. I don't have to have a lot of space to do it. I don't have to set it up permanently somewhere. Like this is designed to move around with me. I really like to go from room to room too. Like it doesn't just stay here in my yarn dungeon. When I'm watching movies, I'll throw this on because it's not that loud. Like when I first got it, I was kind of, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to do it. No, it is not that loud. The main reason that I stopped using this was because I ran out of fiber. But now I have those 2 braids. I have quite a bit from Get Ben's farm. And then I have some just like random stuff that I've collected over the winter season. I don't know, it was just like a random bag of red, green, and black. It's been all that up now, because when I sit down and do this, I end up going through like a couple braids very quickly. That's the thing. I'm still just in the learning process. So I want to do everything all at once. There isn't, oh, I'm just going to do a little bit and then I'll save it for later. I want to spin it all up and then set it and then actually work up the yarn that I've spun myself, which is why I'm so excited about this one. If everything goes to plan, since this is starting tomorrow, I might be able to take this outside. No, you know what? It's supposed to rain tomorrow. So that won't work in the rain. We're not going to do that. We'll pick a spot here, set it up tonight, and then that way, yes, that's what I'm going to do. Set everything up tonight. That way when I get up, I can have my coffee and spin these up. I'm just so freaking excited about this now. One more thing that I got. This is from the Fold Out Cat, little tiny baby hanks of yarn, the Mad Hatter's Tea Party. I'm going to be using it for one of the Pride projects that I have planned. So this is going to fall into the category of starting within the week. I realized that it was like started within the month, but we're coming up to June very, very quickly. So I need to start that one. If not this week, next week for sure. Again, with the intense purples. I just love them. I never get tired of it. So we have 2 baby hanks of the purple, 2 of the green, teal, green, and yellow, and then like a rainbow hank. So all of these are going to go together, and I'm going to alternate, I think, every row. So that is all of the yarn and roving that I got for Shepherd's Harvest. Very last thing, I had to get a t-shirt. They had a black and red one with a little tiny sheep and a spinning wheel on it, which I thought was adorable. Fantastic harvest, amazing projects. Oh, did I go through every project that I had planned? So roving, just as a recap, just for myself really, the roving, I'm going to spin that up tomorrow. Midnight collection, we're hanging this up. We're going to wait for that. Wednesday is going to turn into a sock, and that's going to be sometime this month. Same with the Secret Woods, that's going to be sometime this month from Nerdy Knits, and we're making a crossbody bag. Oh, and then it's going to turn into a project, and that needs to get going sometime either this week or next week. Okay, so I actually feel a lot better, even compared to when we first started chit-chatting today. I don't feel as overwhelmed with all of my projects, especially since it's all set and I can put it in my planner now, kind of just move forward with everything. So thanks for doing that for me, listening to me chit-chat about everything that I got from Shepherd's Harvest. Let me know what your favorite thing was, or like what jumped out to you that you'd be like, absolutely, I'm starting this first. This is the direction that I'm gonna go. For now, that is it. So thanks again for hanging out with me today. Have a super spooky rest of your night, and I will see you in my next video.